there's probably a lot of misunderstanding about risk associated, COVID related with flying. And you were explaining some of this to me the other day. Can you talk to me about, risk of contracting virus as far as your knowledge goes?
Yeah, it's one of the misconceptions, I guess, that we and our peers in the industry are collectively trying to address. Well, one of the things that's kind of fed that is this feeling that when you're on a tube and you're isolated and you're right next to a bunch of people, and there's incorrect information about what's happening to the air on board the airplane, all that stuff.
Right.
People have a general fear about that, proximity and all that stuff. But the truth of the matter is that our industry and the equipment that we operate, the airplanes that we fly, have been modernized over the last 40 years to the point, and in some cases intentionally designed to address this specific issue, which is the transmission of communicable diseases. Mm-hmm. So that the safety on board the airplane, and safety is what the airline industry has always been about. It's the number one thing we think about. And I think we've shown that our industry has made dramatic strides since deregulation in improving mm-hmm. the safety of our business across the board. But it's broadly not understood what's happening when you get on an airplane. So since the crisis, Spirit specifically, and I know a lot of our peers have done the same thing, we've implemented a multi-layered approach to make people, to assure people that they're going to be safe and comfortable on board our airplanes. It starts with kind of regular disinfection of the airplane. In fact, that's been improved since the crisis. We now fog the aircraft with an antimicrobial agent that actually adheres to surfaces directly and kills the virus on contact. That's good for up to 30 days. We refog the airplane every 10. We do regular, we wipe down all of the high-touch surfaces on every turn. So every time the airplane lands, we're wiping down the buckles and the armrests and the tray tables and the lavatories and the door and handles and all that stuff. So that's really the first step. The second is the air quality on board an airplane. I referred to this earlier, is akin or actually better than you would find in an operating room in a hospital. So, and these things are rated based on how rapidly the air is recirculated through the facility, be it airplane or a room or whatever, and then what type of filtration system you have. And the best you can have there is a Hepa filter, which all modern aircraft have. And then the air on board the airplane is actually recirculated every 2 to 3 minutes, which is faster than you'll find in an operating room. Add to that the actual airflow on board the airplane is vertical because it's coming in at your head and exiting at your feet. So all that's pushing particulate and all that down. So it's filtering out about 99.97% of all particulates, which include viruses, and creating an environment that's actually safer than you'll find, in any hospital operating room. And then the last piece is we mandated facial coverings on board the airplane just to make sure that there was an additional layer. And there have already been studies done, and the airline industry broadly is commissioning some additional work to confirm it. But some work's already been done by MIT, by the folks at Airbus, by the folks at Boeing, that show that when you do all these things, the risk of transmission approaches zero, even when you're sitting next to somebody. So it's great news. What we have to do is do a great job at trying to get that out, right? Make people comfortable.
I think the historical perception was that you're flying in an airplane for 3 hours, you're breathing the same air for 3 hours.
That's right.
I think the average person thinks that. I was definitely guilty of that before our last conversation. So